Welcome to Arkham. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. So, today we are going to be talking about Brett Cooper's departure from the Daily Wire. We are also going to follow up on a story I covered recently about a OnlyFans prostitute by the name of Lily Phillips, who seems to be expressing a little bit of remorse about her lofty goal to sleep with 1,000 men. We'll see if this is legit or not. And we will also discuss some upcoming movies. It's a really good year for movies, and I've seen a lot of good movie trailers. So we'll cover some of those and more today on Arkham. So if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell to stay notified. I go live every Tuesday through Saturday at 9 p.m. But I've been a little bit off my game for the holidays, but that's typically when I go live. All right. So let's get into this. So Daily Wire and Brett Cooper are parting ways, and it seems to be, at least at face value, mutual. And it doesn't seem like there is bad blood on the surface. I do suspect, I have a suspicion something has probably gone amiss. Now, there were rumors regarding Brett's departure prior, and we'll talk about those. So this has been something that people have been speculating for a couple weeks now, and she finally made the announcement that she is officially leaving. So let's do a recap real quick of the first little hint that we got that this was happening. So this guy broke this story, and at first I actually thought like it didn't have a lot of weight, but I was wrong, and it did. Now I don't know about the details of it, but he was at least right that she is leaving the Daily Wire. So this is from James Lee. He says sources close to the situation claim that Brett's impending departure is hostile. She's not allowed to speak publicly. Yeah, she has an NDA. That's not a shocker. The Daily Wire is also in massive financial trouble. I I'm not buying that at all. And CEO Jeremy Boring is bugging the office. Yeah, I doubt that too. So these are just things that I just don't think are true, but it doesn't mean everything's false. So let's listen to his video and then
Brett Cooper fans, I just got a source very close to the Daily Wire who told me that Brett Cooper is out. She is leaving the Daily Wire and the situation is very hostile.
And it's kind of weird because she's still doing her show right now.
So here are some of the notes that I took. Like I said, the situation is hostile, and apparently she is not allowed to speak about this publicly. A possible gag order, maybe, allegedly. Wouldn't be at all shocked if that was the case, though, given what happened to Candace Owens when she left the Daily Wire earlier this year.
Doing some digging online, and apparently some people are speculating that maybe she's pregnant.
I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently it's not related to why she wants to leave.
Also, it looks like the Daily Wire is trying to clone some kind of blonde version of Brett.
Welcome back to the comment section. I am producer Reagan, filling in for Brett again this Friday, and today is a big day.
I don't know what they're trying to do there, but it's a little weird, right? They also told me that the Daily Wire is in huge financial trouble. Apparently, they're massively overspending on projects. $66 million on Pendragon, which I guess is coming soon.
Oh, and she's also supposed to be doing this Snow White thing next year. I am not sure if this is still happening.
The last thing, Jeremy Boring, he is the CEO of the Daily Wire. Allegedly, he's been bugging the office, spying on people. I guess the vibes there are super not good right now. And just for the record, I don't know Brett at all, but if all this is true, given everything that I've just been told and everything I know about what happened to Candace Owens, like 6 months ago, the Daily Wire, they are not nice people. So definitely, if you like Brett, go out, support her, because going to be some rough waters ahead.
So initially, I had discounted everything this guy had said. I didn't really think there was a lot of weight to it, but Brett made the announcement herself. She's leaving the Daily Wire. So, I don't really know what to make of everything that he's talking about regarding the turmoil that evidently is happening at the Daily Wire. There are some suspicions I have of reasons that she might have left. So I'm going to play her clip real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
Hey guys, some of you
And I'm not playing this whole clip. I'm just going to play the part where she talks about leaving.
have heard the rumors online, and the rumors are mostly true. Today, December 10th, will be my last day hosting the comment section and working for the Daily Wire. It is not true that I am being forced out. It was my own choice to leave. And believe me, this is bittersweet. I have had the most unbelievable 3 years helping to craft the show, building this community, and telling stories and sharing the truth every day. Through the comment section, you all have made me braver, more articulate, more thoughtful, more hopeful than I could have ever imagined. And I'm grateful that we spent this time together. And I'm grateful that the Daily Wire gave us a platform to grow this community. But at this point in my life, I am ready to take on a new direction, both personally and professionally. This means new challenges and new endeavors, which I will share with you soon. As for this show, the comment section will continue with the Daily Wire. My producer, Reagan, is taking over as host of the comment section, and I wish her and the Daily Wire all the best. We have had 3 great years, and I am proud of what we've accomplished together. Leaving the show and the platforms that we've built is hard, but I'm very excited for what's to come. Knowing that we have brought so many people together in laughter over these last 3 years means the world to me. I appreciate all of you, so let's chat again soon, but in the meantime, go touch some grass, kick some rocks, and we'll catch up shortly. And now for some final thoughts from the God King himself, Jeremy Boring.
Bittersweet indeed. We're sad to see Brett go, but we're excited to see her take the next step in her journey. Brett's an amazing talent, both as a personality and as an actress. It's been a pleasure to see her bring the comment section to life these last 3 years, and her performance in the Pendragon cycle is sensational. I'm certain that whatever Brett creates next will be filled with the same joy and laughter and heart that she's brought to all of her work at the Daily Wire. And we wish her nothing but the best.
So, my friends, while I have you here, I thought we could run it back one last time.
All right, that's the gist of it. So I do gotta say, Jeremy kind of having a video spliced into this, it just seemed a little weird. It just seemed out of place. I thought it would have been more effective if he just did it from his own platform or did it from, just his Twitter would have been fine. But having in here just seems weird, and it does seem to me a little insincere. So she says she's not being forced out, and I believe that. I believe likely, and here is what I think is most probable. Okay, here's my theory. All right, I have two suspicions why she's leaving. All right, the first is, and this goes back to actually the whole Steven Crowder situation. So I don't know if you guys remember that, but Steven Crowder got into a big public spat with the Daily Wire over their contracts. And the Daily Wire offered Steven Crowder $50 million, but they would ding him if he got like strikes on YouTube. And they had all these stipulations with the contract that he didn't like. He wasn't happy about it. And this became a very public and very ugly conflict between the two of them, which resulted in Jeremy Boring and Ben Shapiro no longer being friends with Steven Crowder. Like, they parted ways and they basically became enemies. So during that course, though, I do think the amount of money being offered to Steven was something that I do think probably rubbed a lot of the people working for the Daily Wire the wrong way. I particularly remember Candace Owens making a comment about it. And maybe money is something that, and in the contract itself, is something that bothered Brett Cooper, which is why she's not continuing with them. And maybe she realizes now that she'll make far more money on her own, which is fine. You know, it's fine if that's what she wants to do. I respect it. And I do remember Jeremy Boring talking about helping bring people up and helping people get their start. So, you know, he did that with Brett Cooper. So I don't think that this should be an ugly thing. I don't think that this is something that people should use to smear the Daily Wire, which I consistently see people doing. I get that, you know, people are unhappy with the way things turned out with Candace Owens. It is what it is. It's business. It happens. You're not going to be able to make everybody happy. You're going to have some disgruntled employees. But I don't think this is a situation that that's what it is. Maybe she wasn't completely happy with her contract and they mutually agreed to part ways. So that's my suspicion. So that's part of it. And I also think, her friendship with Candace Owens probably plays a role. So after she did this announcement, Candace Owens retweeted her new YouTube link, and they commented back and forth. So it shows that they're engaging and still have a pretty solid relationship. So I do think the two most likely things is just money and her relationship with Candace Owens probably influenced her decision to leave the Daily Wire. Now my hopes is that that Brett Cooper stays on board with their movie projects. I hope that Snow White is finished and that she is and remains the face of Snow White, because we need to kick Disney in the nuts. All right, we need the Daily Wire to produce a Snow White that blows what Disney puts out of the water. That's what we need. And it'd be great if Brett Cooper was the one that stayed on board with that project. She's also, I guess, he mentioned that she did a great job in the Pendragon cycle. I hope she continues doing that. And I hope that she has a very prosperous and successful career. But unfortunately, though, not everybody is happy with this outcome. And this is one of the comments that I just wanted to highlight it because I do think it showcases a mindset that people have that I just think is wrong and misguided. So we have this person, Charles Page JD. He said, so you built a channel with over 4 million subscribers and Daily Wire keeps all your work products and then subs in your producer as the new host. You have to start with 0 subs on a new channel. Seems unconscionable to me. You are the show. Except the Daily Wire gave her. The Daily Wire produced the show. The intellectual property belongs to the Daily Wire. They gave Brett Cooper the platform. She didn't have a platform before this. She was an actress. That's great. But she didn't have a platform. They gave her platform. They gave her start in conservative media. They did that. And I'm not discounting the work that she put in, but we can't pretend like they didn't play a part of it. So yes, they own the channel. Of course, just like they own Candace Owens' channel. And Candace Owens had her own separate channel that she had to create. So I do think they gave Brett Cooper a pretty good launch into her career in conservative media. I think they did a terrific job. I think many people would love that opportunity. Love an opportunity that the Daily Wire gave her. So it's real easy for people to kind of, think that she's entitled to something, but they're not thinking that the Daily Wire invested money into Brett Cooper. They invested money into building this channel. So what, every 3 years or every time they start a project, if that person leaves, that they get to keep it? It doesn't make any sense. Seems like a lot of people have left the Daily Wire. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Two big personalities, Candace Owens and Brett Cooper, but there are other people that have been on board for a long time. People like Matt Walsh, by the way, who I really respect, has been with the Daily Wire for a long time, and he's achieved massive success. So he's been wildly successful, and Matt Walsh is somebody that he brought me ultimately to the Daily Wire. I came because of him. I came because of the content that he produces. You probably will get similar vibes from the content I produce because much of my understanding of politics has been shaped by Walsh. I've been following for a very long time. So I really respect him, and I respect what they're doing overall. And I think people can, real quick demonize the Daily Wire, but they forget the things that they have accomplished. All right. So, I get, that everybody's mad about Israel and the whole Israel situation. You put that aside. Forget about that. All right. I don't care about Israel. I don't care if the Daily Wire is pro Israel, against. I don't care. I don't care about Israel. I don't care about what's happening there. I live in America. That's my priority. That's what I'm focused about. So, but because you have these people that are anti-Israel, because the Daily Wire supports Israel, they automatically just discount everything the Daily Wire's done without realizing that the Daily Wire is one of the most it is the most effective conservative media organization there is, bars none. No one else in conservative media is doing what they are doing. Nobody. Not The Blaze, not Fox, not Louder with Crowder, nobody, not Timcast, nobody is doing what they are doing. They are producing high quality movies. They are producing high quality children's entertainment. They have released the best documentary in the past 15 years that had a national release in the movie theaters. Has anybody else in conservative media done that? Anybody? A single person? I can't think of any. Steven Crowder, Candace Owens, Ben Zoloff, Brett Cooper. I didn't know about Ben Zoloff, but I like Ben. So that's interesting. And Steven Crowder, that was a big public spot. And he was never officially with the Daily Wire. So, he planned to join them. And he went out and did his own thing. So, it is what it is. But anyway, nobody's doing what they're doing. And then, two, people forget that they catch amnesia. They forget the other major things that they helped do, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys recall, during COVID, there was this crazy old senile man that was trying to force vaccinate all federal employees and all employees. They were trying to force vaccinate us. And the Daily Wire sued them and won and got Biden to overturn his mandate. People forget about that. I think that's pretty significant that they help fight back against that. Oh, and, they are the leaders in fighting against transgenderism. It's because of Matt Walsh in particular, who is with the Daily Wire, that there's a national conversation about transgenderism. So without the Daily Wire and their support, I don't think they would make anywhere near the impact, or Walsh on his own would have made the anywhere near the impact he is, because he has their support. And he released the documentary, What is a Woman?, which was produced by the Daily Wire, which had massive cultural impact. It was being talked about by everybody. It was a huge success. And because of that, we've had legislation passed. We've had the Vanderbilt clinic that performed transgender procedures on minors shut down. And we're about to see transgender mutilation of minors get banned in Tennessee. Or there's a course which might set the precedent for it to be banned nationwide. So that is pretty significant. And I think a lot of people forget that the Daily Wire is responsible for this. They also helped flip Virginia red. So there's just a list of things that they have done that have just been a net positive. Because of them, because of the Daily Wire, and because of the product that they've created, I can put on children's cartoons for my daughter. She can watch whatever is in their Bentkey app. And I don't have to worry about her being exposed to transgender beavers. I don't have to worry about RuPaul drag cartoons in my children's programming. I don't have to worry about gay dinosaurs and Gonzo in a dress. I don't have to worry about any of that because they have created a viable alternative for children's programming that doesn't suck. It's very good. Very good. Bentkey is awesome, by the way. And this is unpaid. I don't get paid to promote them. If you're not on the Bentkey app, freaking get on it. Like, if you have kids, all these shows are great. They're fantastic. Get the app. Trust me. There's lots of programming. You have lots of choices. My kids love this show, Gus Plus Us. This, by the way, is my most listened to soundtrack on Spotify. Because my kids just love the song from the show. So anyway, this is just an example of things that they've built. So they've done a good job actually changing the culture. So yeah, they lose some talent. Yeah, they have disagreements with some other people in conservatism, and they part ways with people. This happens all the time. All right, Fox parted ways with Tucker Carlson. the Blaze cut ties with Tommy Lauren. Like this just happened. This is just the nature of the beast. All right. So we can't discount an entire organization just because you have an allegiance to one personality. All right. I love Walsh. All right. He's the GOAT. He's the best. I think he's a net positive. If he left, I'm going to continue to follow Walsh's work, but I will also continue to support the Daily Wire because I see the fruit of what they built, and it's good, and it's again been a net positive on the culture. So I think that's good. I do want to read a little bit from this Axios article because it talks about some of their success, which I think is noteworthy. So the Daily Wire eyes growth investment in 2025. So the Daily Wire is looking to possibly partner with larger companies or raise significant amount of capital next year to meet its growth ambitions. Its CEO Jeremy Boring told Axios why it matters. The company commercial success has caught the attention of investors and potential buyers looking to gain a foothold in the younger conservative culture. Now, if what that guy said about the Daily Wire being in financial trouble was true, nobody would be looking to invest in the company. Why? Why would that happen? But they're full of crap, and they're largely successful. So between the lines, asked about a deal with Fox, Boring said the company isn't actively looking for a buyer, but we're not closed off to an offer. That bothers me. I would be very bummed if they sold out. So I hope God that does not happen. Buy it cheaper. Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. It's easy to imagine a strategic partnership with Fox or someone like Fox that could be mutually beneficial. I think would complement Fox and don't compete with Fox. He added, noting that the Daily Wire audience is primarily younger and more coastal urban. The Nashville-based company, which is on track to surpass $200 million in revenue this year, would come with a hefty price tag. Hey, how are you? Unlike Candace, Brett has no merit to stand on and is just a covert feminist. Only little girls really watch her and respect her opinions. Candace really tried to help her out today. You know what, man? I agree a little bit. So I have not been a huge Brett Cooper stan. I've watched a couple episodes on very specific things, but there are some things that bothered me about Brett Cooper coming in. The fact that her homosexual pal Amir, appeared with her on episodes. I thought that was weird, and I thought she seemed more libertarian to me than actually conservative. I don't know if her ideas evolved. I just kind of chalked it up to her being young and not a little naive. So hopefully she's matured and grown out of that. But that definitely bothered me. Same issue I kind of have with Jordan Peterson a little bit. Some of his ideas and some of what he promotes, I'm not supportive of. It's not super conservative, but it is what it is. Anyway. So Daily Wire raised an undisclosed round of capital in 2023 at the valuation well over the north of $1 billion. I think they're doing just fine. I think they're doing great. So the company made more than $22 million in commerce sales in 2023. This year, it will make more than $20 million on its Jeremy's Razors business alone, Boring said. And Mayflower Cigar, a startup, has grossed $4.2 million in sales since its launch last November. So they're doing great. They're doing great. I didn't have the article pulled up, my bad. But anyway, they're doing fine. So I don't think they need to worry. And I don't think we need to worry about them selling off to Fox. And I hope they continue to make great content and win the culture. And I hope they develop their media side of it, particularly film and television, because I think that is what's going to matter most, is them dominating that area and them competing with Hollywood. Because I actually think that is where we can be the most effective, because leftists have become very crappy storytellers. And I think the Daily Wire has the talent and the money to take them on. And we've seen them create some pretty well done films. I thought Run, Hide, Fight was excellent. I thought Shut In was excellent. Terror on the Prairie was all right. But What is a Woman? Great. Am I a Racist? Great. And I think if they continue to make media, it's going to do good. The Pendragon Cycle, the little that I've seen from it, it looks fantastic. So I think, yeah, we need them to do that really, really well. And they can, bring on, influencers to, or commentators to help them. I think Hope, the replacement. Now, I do want to say I do think it's messed up that Brett got replaced with her producer Regan. That seems messed up to me. But it is what it is. I'd be salty, because I guess that's like her best friend in Bridesmaid. So I could see that causing a little bit of bad blood, but maybe she wanted her to get the opportunity because they're friends. I don't know. But if Brett wasn't on board, that's pretty bad. And then the fact that I don't know if you guys have ever had to train your replacements, but there's nothing, there's nothing quite like it. Like, this person's going to replace you, and you need to work as long as possible. And it's just a slap in the face. I remember I used to work for DirecTV, and then they got bought out by AT&T, and there was teams that were training people in the Philippines, and I remember thinking like, those people are going to take our jobs. And AT&T assured us, no one's taking your jobs. You're all fine. By the end of the year, they laid off 900 employees. They laid off 900 employees and outsourced our jobs to the Philippines and had us train our replacements. Fantastic. So I do think that's messed up. So, yeah. Anyway, with all that said, I wish Brett Cooper the best. She does have a new YouTube channel, which I encourage you to follow. So it's just at Brett Cooper, at BB Brett Cooper. And looks like she's doing good. I think she'll be all right. I think when I saw the launch of this channel was at 6,000, and now it's at 90, almost 100,000. She's going to be okay. She'll be fine. She'll be okay. And the people that support her will continue to support her, and the people that support the Daily Wire will continue to support the Daily Wire. All right, moving on. So last week I had shared a story about a woman by the name of Lily Phillips, who is an OnlyFans prostitute. And I will always use the word prostitute because that's what it is. It's prostitution. Anyway, she had this lofty goal, this demented goal, to sleep with 1,000 people. Well, it appears that she decided to go for a warm-up, and there's a documentary recording her experience after sleeping with 101 men in 24 hours. So I'm going to play you guys a clip from that. It doesn't show anything lewd or... she's gross, so it does show her, and she's gross for doing this, but I'll play it and we'll talk about it. All right.
It's not for the weak, girls, if I'm honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like... It's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it, like...
It's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out, like it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
Well, it is prostitution. That's exactly what it is. And this is something, and I've talked about this before, but I don't understand the logic. Why, when people call them models, OnlyFans, they're not models. They're freaking prostitutes. I don't know how this doesn't fall under prostitution. So it's wrong to pay a woman in an alley and sleep with her in a hotel room. But if you put a camera in between the two of you, it's fine. If you decide to make it into pornography, it's fine. It's no longer prostitution. Make it make sense. It makes no sense at all. This is exactly prostitution. Exactly. It's modern prostitution. In fact, I actually think going back to old school prostitution is better because these people, there was shame. It was done in the dark. It was something that was seen as dirty. But these OnlyFans prostitutes are proud of it. Now, you can see visibly that this is weighing on her. Like, look at her eyes, man. She's crying, emotional, and for a moment, she is being confronted with ironic to hear the gentle piano music. That was an edit. That's not from the original video. But the original video, there's no music. But it is I think for a moment she was confronted with the own ugliness of what she's doing. She was confronted with her own depravity, and she doesn't even know how to describe it. You know, she's using the word intense. Yeah, that's one way to describe it. Because what you've done is horrifically evil, horrendous. And it's taking a physical, emotional, and spiritual toll on this woman. Now, I would like to say that she had like a coming to Jesus moment where she realized, like, this is horrible. What have I done? But she doesn't do it. Which is why I don't have as much sympathy as I did when I initially saw this video. So we'll play this clip of her afterwards on her TikTok.
I spent 14 consecutive hours getting ran through, and now I'm going to be doing 24 because I'm going to be going for the world record early February next year. I'm going to go for 1,000.
So she doubles down. She doubles down. So it's hard for me to be convinced that she's genuinely remorseful. Maybe she had a moment where she let her guard down, but I think the truth is that she likes being a prostitute, that she enjoys what she wants to do. And I think Pearl Davis, God, I disagree with her so much, but I think she has something right. She wrote, this is from Pearly Things, and this is another video that I'm going to play. I'm not sure she's having the PTSD 697 guys are saying. I don't know what that means, but let's play this.
So on Saturday, I got run through by 101 guys. Now, I've had a lot of backlash.
Hold on a second. I just saw a video come up. So Grover Worthington says wrong. Brett Cooper had a YouTube channel before the Daily Wire brought her on board. Interesting. Do you have like a link to that? Because I looked to see if there was anything, and I didn't see anything. I thought she had got her start at the Daily Wire, and if I'm wrong, I will retract. But I thought they made that channel when she joined the Daily Wire. So if I'm incorrect, I will retract. I will make a correction on that, and yeah. So my bad.
So far about it, and I've seen some of the videos and I see your side. Like, I am not trying to encourage other girls to be doing that, like if they don't want to and feel like they have to do that. But my side is like, I'm just a girl trying to enjoy myself, trying to have fun, trying to make some content for you all, you know, trying to get my bag. Like, this is fun to me, this is what I enjoy, no one is forcing me to do this. And I feel like we're going back in time to where women are getting shamed for being a sluzzer, when I thought that's what we were trying to get away from. So on
we do need to go back in time and shame women for being harlots 100%. And I think one of the truths that many of us, including myself, don't fully want to accept is the fact that maybe she didn't suffer some trauma. Maybe she genuinely likes doing this. And for a moment, she was confronted with her evil, but she quickly dismissed it and continues to do it because she enjoys it, because she loves doing evil. And this is something that I do think is something that people consistently do. We try to explain away evil, with OnlyFans, something terrible happened to her, or with like school shooters, they'll try to write off as them being troubled or having psychological issues. But the fact of the matter is, there are just some people that love being evil and that love doing evil things. And I think what we just saw is part of who she is. She likes doing, she wants to make, she did it because she wanted to. She chose to do this. Nobody held a gun to her head. Nobody forced her to do it. She chose to do it. She chose to prostitute herself out. She chose to sleep with 101 men in a day. She could have stopped at any time. She didn't. Now, I do sympathize with other people's perspective, and I do think Mary Morgan actually had a pretty good... What the... Hold on a second here. A pretty good perspective on this that I want to talk about. Let me pull this up. So she had a good thread. So she actually watched this whole documentary, and this was kind of her takeaway from it. So Mary Morgan writes, I watched the documentary about Lily Phillips. This was her immediate reaction after hooking up with 100 men in a day. She was feigning excitement for weeks before the stunt. In fear of seeming judgmental, the one and only cardinal sin recognized in modern secular culture, nobody in Lily's life stopped her from hitting the self-destruct button. Nobody. But maybe she didn't want to be stopped. I don't think we stopped to think about that. Maybe she didn't want to be stopped, And she clearly didn't, because she went through with it. She will remember the fact that nobody stopped her. And how do we know that there weren't people saying, hey, maybe this isn't a good idea? All right, I got some comments here real quick. I like Brett Cooper from OJ Boss 14. I like Brett Cooper. She has great news. She does have, she's good. She's good at covering topics. Her format's good. It's not for me. She's a little young and not my cup of tea, but I understand why people find her. They're not even watching my content. All right. So I think possibly people tried to stop her, and she didn't want to, and she went through with it. So that's speculation. We don't really know. And she will count that as evidence that she is worth nothing more than being used sexually, hence her new record-breaking goal of 1,000 men in a day. This is a veiled suicide attempt. Maybe. Mary Morgan continues to write. Well, we'll just play this video because it explains what she's saying here.
Beforehand, I was never much of a... I actually wanted to wait till marriage at one point. I just used to think it was a real special thing. As soon as I actually did it and had, I kind of realised that it wasn't special beforehand.
So she goes on to say that she didn't have an epiphany one day that sex isn't special. She was hooking up with scores of men who didn't find her special, and she started agreeing with them. Yeah, that might be the case. She might have bought into the lie because she was hooking up with men that were just using her like a sex doll, but she allowed them to. She allowed them to treat her this way. She allowed them to treat her like a prostitute because that's how she acted. All right, here's another clip that Mary shares that I want to play.
And do you think your partner one day will be someone from the industry, most likely, or?
Yeah, I talk about this a lot with my parents because that's the one thing I guess they worry about is like, will you ever find a boyfriend?
Yeah.
But there's so many guys out in the world. I think, you know, one poor bastard's got to marry me. I rather think it's going to be someone from the industry or someone who is into lending me out.
Lending you out?
Yeah.
How the hell is this legal? We literally have her talking about potentially marrying somebody in the industry, and if she does marry somebody in the industry, she will have somebody in the industry that's pimping her out. How the? Oh, I almost cursed. I don't curse, guys. But how is that? How is that legal? I don't. It baffles my mind. And then you have prostitution that's illegal. This is glorified prostitution. It doesn't make any sense. So Mary's comment is Lily Phillips makes many self-deprecating remarks throughout the documentary, but this one was especially bleak. She implies that no sane man will ever love her or want to commit to her. Well, that's true. No sane man is going to want to commit. Who would? Look, I'm not saying that she doesn't have any value whatsoever, but I am saying that your average man is not going to want to sign up to be with a woman that has done this to herself. She's not. Just plain and simple. She isn't. I got some comment. Man, I got a lot of people watching this. This is weird. I'm not upset, but it's unusual. A pleasant surprise. So we have Anthony Jett that says, "What's your ethnicity?" Yes, a lot of people have. I'm very curious what your guess is. I'll tell you. I'm not going to keep it a secret, but I'd like to see some guesses what my ethnicity is. All right. Instead, whoever marries her will be one poor bastard, and he might pimp her out to other men as a prostitute. Yeah, he would be one poor bastard. The only way for her to be redeemable is by actually giving her life to Jesus Christ and getting out of the porn industry. But I still wouldn't encourage, and this is going to be a take that maybe not be popular with other Christians. I would highly discourage any man from marrying this woman. You know, redemption of sin does not mean freedom from earthly consequences of your sin. Doesn't. So she made her bed and she should lie in it. But the truth is that there will be somebody that chooses to marry her despite all this. And that's that man's choice, not a choice that I would make. All right. How is this relevant to Brett Cooper? I don't understand. Jam Sambry, go back to the beginning. Yeah, man, this is a live stream. So I talked about the Brett Cooper thing like the first 30 minutes. And I talk about other topics. Christianity stuff is cringe. Yeah, well, this is I don't know. You may have stumbled across the wrong channel because I'm a Christian. I make Christian content. I promote Christianity, and I make no apologies for it. So repent and follow Jesus. All right, back to the story. So anyway, final thoughts on this Lily Phillips situation. I do think that somebody is going to end up marrying her. And I do think she had a moment of remorse for being, you know, a prostitute who slept with 101 men in one day. But I do think she's ultimately going to continue doing this until she has a coming to Jesus moment or something radical happens. I think she's going to continue doing this. And I think as Christians, we should pray for her soul. I mean, really pray that God gets a hold of her and that somebody tries talking her out of this. That maybe one of those 1,000 men that are trying to sleep with her, maybe one of them goes into that room and says, "You're better than this. I'm not going to do this, and you should not do this. This is not who you are." You know, that's something that we can pray for and hope for. That's something that I hope for. Because what she's doing is grim and what she's doing is horrific. And unfortunately, she's an influencer. So I think her goal, you know, she says it isn't to influence other women. I think it is. You know, when you're doing this as content, you want to create it for other people to influence them. And that is disturbing. And some of you are far back. Z62, she sucked at Snow White. I don't think Brett Cooper was the best choice for Snow White. But I do think since they had already moved forward with the project that they need to finish it. Anyway. Moving on. Staying in the same vein. So OnlyFans. So this is from the Daily Loud. 1.4 million American women on OnlyFans earn an average of $151 per month, while top creators make over $1,000 a month, according to reports. So you have all these women like Lily Phillips influencing women to get on the platform, where most of them won't ever receive any sort of notoriety. And if they do receive notoriety, it's for being a prostitute, which you shouldn't want. And you're going to end up making nothing. So my question to people that are considering doing this is, how much is your integrity worth? You know, and apparently for some, it's worth $151 per month, which is pretty sad and pathetic. But yet you have women promoting the platform. And I did want to cover this last week, but I forgot to. So we're going to talk about Sophie Rain, who is, I guess, one of OnlyFans' top earners. And she earned $43 million a year. And she said that OnlyFans is success and proof that virgins can make money. You know,
Sophie, that's an incredible amount of money. And for a lot of people, they're thinking, how on earth, with just the volume, how do you reach that level? And what would set you apart, especially if there's no pornography?
It honestly, it doesn't feel real. Like, still, I feel like I'm dreaming. It's just a lot of hard work. That's all I can say is I'm constantly on the go. I'm constantly making content. Like, you really have to stick to a strict schedule.
You have already kind of marketed yourself. You're saying,
can I just hard work? Yes, it must be real hard just taking pictures of yourself scantily clad. Oh no, I'm putting in a rough day in the office. I'm just gonna take some pictures with my clothes off. Hard work. Yeah, right.
saying you're a virgin. And I'm wondering if that becomes a draw for a lot of men who are signing up for this.
I'm sure it does. Not a lot of people online claim that they're virgin. I think that it's really awesome that I still am, and that I can show other people that you can still make this much money and be a virgin and don't have to give yourself up to everyone and on the, website, on OnlyFans and all that stuff.
What made you decide to post those earnings? And you had to know that when you did, there was going to be some sort of backlash from the internet, of course.
Sophie, that
virgin. Yeah, right. I'm not buying that. I'm just not. I doubt it. Crow Graves World. What the F am I even watching? This isn't real. Is it? Please tell me. I don't know what point in the stream you're in, but I assure you, everything I'm talking about is real. It's nightmarish, but it's real. It is really a really dark world. Anyway, the reason I bring up Sophie Rain is because she was getting a lot of traction because she made this money on OnlyFans, and she claims that she's a virgin. She also claims that she's a Christian. Weird, and this shows you how much stock or value people put in Christianity, where they think you can actively make pornography and call yourself a Christian. You can't. You cannot call yourself a Christian while simultaneously practicing sin. You can't. Jesus makes it very, very clear that we either follow him or we perish. He says to the woman caught in the act of adultery, go and sin no more, implying that he doesn't want her to continue in sin. So what it means to be a Christian is to turn from your sin and making men lust and taking off your clothes for strangers online is a sin. Horribly disgusting sin. And you're causing men to stumble. You're creating, you're platforming adultery. It's horrible. So I don't think she is a Christian. I suspect she's probably not a virgin. Could be wrong, but the likelihood of that being possible is very, very low. And it gets worse though, because she then goes on to introduce that she has this BOP house. I don't know what that is, but I guess this is a OnlyFans creator's house. And what you're looking at, guys, is a modern brothel. That's what this is. This is a brothel. They'll call it a creator's house, but it's a brothel. That's what it is. And women are working in it, and they are selling themselves to people all over the world. There is no difference. The only difference is that people deceive themselves because they have a computer screen in between them. But make no mistake that the men that watch this are committing adultery, and they are doing something that is horrifically evil. And the women that are creating content are doing something that is horrifically evil. It's awful. And it needs to stop. All right. Wow. All right. So we have Grover Worthington. It was after the Crowder thing. She was commenting on what it was like working at the Wire. She said every contract is different, and she negotiated retaining a YouTube as part of hers. Oh, really? Interesting. So she was supposed to retain her YouTube. Huh. I'm going to have to look into that. Yeah, he's 15 minutes behind. I knew it. Aaron Atwood, Romney Ryan, 2012. I don't know what that means, but cool, I guess. All right, so that's Sophie Rain. This whole industry is demonic, man. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's so evil. And I just want to see it utterly destroyed and to go back to the hell from whence it came. Because it's just a destructive industry. And the men, I was very critical of Lily Phillips and, Sophie Rain, but the men who pay and watch for their content are pretty pathetic. Like, how pathetic do you have to be to pay to watch somebody take their clothes off online? That is sad. A pastor I follow, he said, if you're a Christian, this resonated with me deeply. He said, you can't storm the gates of hell with a bottle of lotion in your hand and your pants around your ankles. I thought, hilarious, but true. So put down the lotion, stop watching porn, repent, become a man of God, start living right, start looking at women not as sexual objects, but as daughters made in the image of God, and get your dignity back, please. All right, speaking of disgusting and disturbing, I want to play this because I always make it a point, whenever possible, to expose another destructive industry, and that is the fat influencer industry and fat influencers in general. So this was shared by Ian Miles Chong, and this is a TikTok influencer. And let's just play.
What I eat in a day as a fatty who works from home and sits on their butt all day. Good morning. We're having Cookie Crisp, non-fat milk, balance.
Oh man, non-fat milk, that's gonna make the difference. She used non-fat milk, so it's okay. She's not gonna gain weight.
Breakfast number 2. I made a Red Bull. It's sugar-free raspberry and sugar-free vanilla. Daily Poppy. Chia-ups. We got Wingstop again. Got me some little corns too. Can't forget the Diet Coke.
God, I hate it here. I hate it so much. Oh, Lord, come back. We have a serious problem with gluttony in our country, as I've said over and over and over again, and yet we keep there are people that follow this woman. They give her, they follow her, they egg her on, they encourage her to eat, and the result has repeatedly been these fat influencers dying of heart attacks. So we just have sin running rampant in our culture, and it's wildly disturbing. It just is. So, yeah. All right. I think we're gonna start to wrap this up. We'll do a couple more stories. All right. So we have this from going a little bit, a little different direction. So we have Greta Gerwig stating that the Chronicles of Narnia, I guess, Netflix series officially starts filming in July 2025. It's a very new take. It's all about rock and roll. Yeah. Because I remember reading the Chronicles of Narnia, and Aslan played a mean electric guitar, and and the beavers were slapping the bass, and it was sick. It was a very rock and roll vibe when reading it, and Thomas was also singing, and yeah, because that's exactly what I'm looking for in my Chronicles of Narnia. Just a little bit of rock and roll. Except I don't want a new take. I want you to stick to the story that C.S. Lewis created, because it was beautiful and it was good. And I feel confident that it's very likely going to get wokeified and destroyed. And I think the Babylon Bee did a great satirical article on this. 9 changes coming to the Netflix Chronicles of Narnia reboot. As the calendar neared the start of 2025, several people around the world grew more excited about Netflix's upcoming reimagining of the world of C.S. Lewis' Chronicles of Narnia. What changes might writer-director Greta Gerwig bring to the beloved classic? The Babylon Bee has attained the following list of fresh takes viewers can expect to see in the next Netflix version of Narnia. Aslan the lion will be non-binary. Thank God. I knew it. Finally. I've always wanted a non-binary Aslan. It will be tied directly into the Stranger Things cinematic universe. Get ready for 11 and the gang to show up and save the Upside Down from invading Narnia. In Narnia, it's always winter, but never Kwanzaa. Focus group testing has shown that Christmas is to be too problematic. Agreed. Mr. Thomas is a man who is transitioning into a fawn. He will also, uh, therefore, be the most important character in the entire story. Chris Pratt is there for some reason, as is required in every film. Well, that would be the only thing that could save the film. We got T-Bone here. Who's Brett Cooper, and why did you end the stream yesterday when you found out your mic was muted? In short, T-Bone, because I felt like a moron, and I needed to make sure that the stream was up to snuff, which is why I ended. So I will be redoing it for a third time. All right. Peter is now a bitter old man living on an island who thinks it's time for Narnia to end. It'll be completely counter to everything people have always loved about the character. It'll be great. Eustace Scrub will no longer be turned from a dragon back into a human. That will be detransitioning and will not be allowed. A Muslim gets into heaven. Oh wait, that actually happened in the original Chronicles of Narnia story. Evil twins, a bold new take on a classic morality tale. So the Babylon Bee slaps here. And they have known to be prophetic, so we can probably expect to see some of these changes happen in the Netflix remake of the Chronicles of Narnia. So we will see. Give me 1 second. All right, I have to wrap this up. So I'm going to end this with a white pill because we got to. And by the way, we have, I think this is one of my most watched streams, to be honest with you. I don't know why. I have at least 20 people watching right now across platforms, and most of you guys are coming from YouTube. So sweet. Help me cross the line into 1,000 followers. I'm very close. I'm at 800. Last I checked, 822. So like, share, subscribe, follow, do all that. That helps me out. So anyway, final white pill. Bible sales increased 22% in 2024, driven by first-time buyers. I don't know if Trump has anything to do with this. They have Trump included in this tweet, but I think that's a net positive. I think after seeing some of the stuff that I showed you guys during the stream, that most people are waking up to the fact that this world is evil and they're not getting any explanations and it's not getting better. And people are losing hope and they are turning back to our roots and turning to Jesus and the Bible to help get them through this wild time that we're living in. I think that's a net positive. And I hope more and more people decide to start taking scripture seriously. They start to look at the evil of the world and realize if evil is real, that God must be real, and they start getting involved in churches and actually encounter the love of Jesus, and their hearts change because the world is spinning out of control right now. And we need Christians who are bold and willing to stand up for what is true, to say what is true no matter the cost, and to speak the truth in a world that is hell-bent on lying to everybody. And one thing that I promise you guys is that I will always tell the truth. That's something that I'm committed to, is saying what I believe to be true, no matter what happens. And the truth is that Jesus Christ is Lord, and that he died for your sins, and that in him you can have eternal life. And if you have questions about the Bible, you can feel free to reach out to me. If you need prayer for anything, feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching, and thank you for supporting the stream. This has been my most viewed stream, and that is pretty cool. So I'm ending. And you want to know something too? It's so crazy. Yesterday I was like, I keep messing up on these streams and doing stupid stuff. I was muted yesterday, and I was muted. And I've had mic issues, and I was just like, maybe I should just stop doing this. And today was very encouraging. Very encouraging. So thank you for watching, and I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a blessed night. Deuces.